The Joker as a character has always been interesting to me. I always related to him heavily because, like the Joker, I am also one big fucking clown. My favorite interpretation of him were the ones that depicted him as this antithesis to Batman. While Batman wants peace, Joker wants chaos. When Batman's one bad day turned him into Batman, the Joker's one bad day turned him into Joker. And the one thing that's very common among these adaptations is that Joker doesn't really have a canonical backstory. Even in the comics, it's never really established, and it's also very, very confusing. I think at one point there were like 3 Jokers. I have no idea. So imagine my surprise when Joker came out in 2019. This was the first time we get to see an actual backstory for one of the most mysterious characters in comic book history. And how was it? It was okay. While the movie had good cinematography, solid soundtrack, and one of the coolest designs for the Joker, I was never really sold on Arthur Fleck being the Joker. On a conceptual level, Joker needs a Batman to even become the Joker. He's always been a product of him. There was even a what if storyline in the comics of, what if Batman died? What would the Joker do? And the whole thing ended with the Joker working at the DMV. So to say that the Joker is his own character like this never really stuck with me. Another part of why I don't really like this interpretation of him has to do with the character of Arthur Fleck. Joker is this cunning, relentless, and unpredictable character. Meanwhile, Arthur is a sad, pathetic man-child. Even when he had his big Joker moment, when he talked to Robert De Niro in that climactic scene, to me he just sounded like a child instead of the Joker. But I guess this film resonated with a lot of people because it became sort of a cultural phenomenon. The movie did big numbers and it pushed this idea that the Joker is this incel alpha male type character and is a product of how far society can push a man. And it spawned a bunch of people dressing up like him. So a couple years passed with this new perception of the Joker, and then we got Joker 2, or Joker Folie Deux, and goddamn, does everyone hate this freaking movie. And to be fair, the movie does have a lot of fatal problems. 1, the story does not feel satisfying at all. The whole plot of the movie is Arthur being on trial for the events of the first movie. I understand the message this movie was trying to convey, but I think this plotline does a very poor job in delivering that message. The ending was very anticlimactic as well, but I'll get more into that later. 2, the musical numbers were very jarring, and I understand that they were there to depict the emotions that both Arthur and I guess Harley Quinn were feeling at the moment. But again, I think there's better ways to do this that fit the vibe of the movie more. In the second half of the movie, I kept rolling my eyes whenever they started singing because at a certain point, like, fuck the singing, please just continue the story. It keeps interrupting and I just want shit to happen. I will say, some songs were okay. It was very Frank Sinatra-esque if you like those kind of songs, but yeah, it just became kind of tiring. On the production side of things, I didn't find anything wrong with it. Every scene looked okay, the editing was fine. Maybe some issues with pacing, but it didn't seem really that messy to me. Definitely not as memorable in terms of cinematography as the first movie, but I'm sure someone with more experience with production can speak on that better than me. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the plot of this movie in detail. So the whole movie is about Arthur fighting over whether or not he should be Arthur or become the symbol that society pushed him on, which is the Joker. His lawyer wants him to be Arthur while everyone else wants him to be Joker. And of course, he ended up choosing the latter. Not gonna lie, if I was in his position, I would too. If Lady Gaga came up to me and said, yo, you should definitely be the Joker, I would fold immediately and then proceed to put on my clown makeup. Anyways, he finally commits to being the Joker and it was just super cringe. He fires his lawyer and decides to represent himself, which almost never works out in real life court. And so he's questioning the small guy from the first movie, and then he goes through like 5 different accents for some reason. I don't know if it was actually 5 different accents or 5 shittier and shittier versions of the southern drawl accent he was trying to do. He eventually says something that pisses off the guards at Arkham, and then Arthur goes back to Arkham Asylum. So what is the payoff for deciding to become the Joker? What was the climactic consequence that the entire movie was building up towards? He got raped, or like implied rape, by the guards. And then like 5 minutes later, Arthur backtracks and it's just like, yeah, I can't do this shit anymore. I'm not gonna lie, I find it a little bit funny that this was the thing that immediately made Arthur want to stop being the Joker. It came out of left field and I'm just like, why? The director Todd Phillips could have done something more meaningful, but no. If you want to become the Joker, the consequences is sexual assault. I'm not sure what Todd Phillips meant by this. Maybe it's his answer to all these toxic masculinity, alpha male incel types, you know, just fucking sexually assault them, and maybe they'll stop. But who knows, you know. Back to the movie, after he decides to stop being the Joker, everyone, including Lady Gaga, just stops supporting him, and then a disgruntled supporter stabs him like 10 minutes later, and then he dies alone. It's a sad movie, and the more I think about this movie, the more it becomes obvious that Todd Phillips hated what he created. I think he saw the reaction everyone had to what the Joker is as a symbol in real life and wanted to completely demolish it. He knew fully well what kind of movie he was going to make and even told the audience up front that we're not going to get what we want. In one scene, Joker and Lady Gaga have this dream sequence musical number thing, and then the song cuts off with Gaga saying, I think we should give the people what they want. And then the Joker's like, yeah, I think we should. And then she fucking shoots him. This is clearly Todd Phillips saying to us, the audience, fuck you guys. Also, Lady Gaga. Damn, they wasted her. Kind of a lot of missed potential with her character. She could have done something much more than just be a Joker enabler and sing. But nah, she left no impression at all. In Joker 2, nobody gets what they want. Arthur doesn't get the support he wants, Lady Gaga and the supporters don't get the Joker, the incel alpha males don't get to see their symbol triumph, and the rest of us don't get a good movie. The only person that really wins is Todd Phillips, which I can respect if this is what he wanted. 5 out of 10.